The president continues.
We are very tough at the border. When people want to come in for our farmers, et cetera, we're not going to hurt our farmers. But we've never had better numbers than we have right now, and that's been helped because we're at a little bit over 280 miles right now.
President Trump now on his way back to Washington, D.C. The president also stopped in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where he participated in an Iowa disaster recovery briefing. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy announcing on Tuesday that he's suspending long-standing operational initiatives at the Postal Service amid fears that the change could delay election mail this fall. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I think just taking the balance of nature, I really feel like I just plain old-fashioned feel better. And it's really a noticeable thing. So that to me is significant. It really is.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com today and use discount code USA.
While you have free time and you're sitting at home and you ponder what kind of gifts to buy for someone, PatriotDepot.com has you covered from puzzles, games, novelty items. If you're looking for some unique style items when it comes to the president, for more you can check out PatriotDepot.com. Call 844-377-8052. That's 844-377-8052 or PatriotDepot.com. Use promo code USA.
The Senate Select Committee on Intelligence is releasing their fifth and final volume of their report on Russian interference in the 2016 election. The report found no evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, but did conclude that Russia intervened in the election to harm Hillary Clinton's campaign and help the campaign of Donald Trump.
We found absolutely no evidence whatsoever that Donald Trump or his campaign colluded with Russia to meddle in our elections. Second, the FBI made some very troubling mistakes, especially by relying on a Steele dossier against the advice of the CIA and without verifying this foreign document or the sources that were used to create it.
That's the committee's acting chairman, Republican Senator from Florida, Marco Rubio. And your final numbers on Wall Street, it was a record day for the S&P as they add 8 points to close at 3390. The Dow, meanwhile, losing 67, closing at 27,778. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Working from home? I'm Chad Dodd, veterinarian and consultant to Limp Bells. Here are some tips for keeping your dog fit while staying at home. Find 15 minutes twice a day and walk your pet at a decent pace around your place. Play hide and seek by hiding some kibble or favorite toys and letting your dog find them. If you have stairs and your dog is mobile, walk up and down twice a day for 5 to 10 minutes. Or better yet, try a power walk on your terrace or backyard for some fresh air. There are more helpful pet care tips at youmove.com, spelled YOUMOVE.com.
The prosecutor in charge of Portland condemned the brutal violence that took place on August 16th and vowed to punish those responsible. According to witnesses, Black Lives Matter activists punched and kicked multiple people near a rally. Witnesses say the night of chaos began when the BLM protesters grew upset with the man filming them in the vicinity of the Justice Center, a county building. They forced him to leave and soon assaulted him. Drew Hernandez witnessed the attack.
They chased him for I think maybe 2-3 blocks up the street until he finally crashed into a tree. When they finally caught up to him, they went nuts. This was violent, extremely violent. Sometimes I forget that I'm walking the streets of an American city in the Northwest. Sometimes it feels like you're walking in a third world country.
A significant portion of the speakers featured during the first hour of the opening night of the 2020 Democratic National Convention focused on the topic of racism in the United States. According to the convention's host, actress Eva Longoria, ongoing systematic racial injustice would be one of the main 3 topics during the first day of the convention. One of the first major speakers, Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, spoke in front of the Black Lives Matter Plaza at the center of the nation's capital. More news online at usaradio.com. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Welcome to What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermson, and I'm your host. It's Tuesday.
Hooty hoo.
And we're here.
Yeah.
Our new day, and we're glad to be here.
It's almost regular.
Yeah, it is kind of regular. April is even here with us today. Hello, April.
Hello. Happy to be here. Happy to make a fresh change to a Tuesday.
Our timing is good, right?
Yes.
Oh, I had to say it.
You didn't say anything. I wonder, boy, that my earphones aren't working. Well, I didn't know
one has to turn it on.
I know. It's amazing.
Amazing how that works, right?
You know what? Technology's a wonderful
Oh my gosh. Is this going to be the start of a good show?
Oh, of course. Of course. Well, you guys are a little more lively. Brought you some blueberry muffins there. So, April, sorry, they weren't gluten-free anyway, so you couldn't
I know.
have those.
Okay, well, and the smell, I would like to just smell them.
Oh, yeah, they do smell good. I will tell you that. And if you were going to be here, see, I would have gotten them gluten-free.
Oh, that's okay. Why should you?
I'm going to stick the microphone down in there to smell it. Oh, look, they smell really good.
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
there we go.
I can smell it.
All right.
Does that really?
He's very accommodating, isn't he?
Thank you.
Does that really work?
Yeah. New technology.
It is.
It did in my mind.
That's right. She could smell it all the way through, and everybody else too, right? Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, man.
So today we are going to talk about how's your timing? Has it improved? Has it changed? Is it good? Is it bad?
You mean in the batter's box? Like, is it hitter or right?
Well, it could be the timing on your car. It could be any number of things, right?
I think mostly we're looking at timing of our lives, right?
Yeah,
Our lifetime belts.
Yeah, I kind of think, our lifetime
Right?
belts.
Don't they have
that's
to
right.
replace those every 30,000
They probably
miles?
should
Yeah.
replace them every 30,000. Yeah, that might be helpful.
I think so.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about timing. We are gonna have another book blitz today. Hopefully, you guys brought some good books on timing, right? Some good timing picks. And then April will be sharing a little bit about COVID-19 fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I could talk about that right now.
I think I had that from day one.
I know.
Yeah, it started early.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, day 2 at least.
I think it was a Tuesday.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday. That's right. Because it was after we were on the air, and then it started, and then we had a whole week to experience it again. So, yeah, and I don't. In Nevada, at least, I still don't understand why we're still in a state of emergency. Because
Joke. It's ridiculous because today I came up and I got to the door and I'm like, oh, my mask. It's the first place I've gone today outside the office, right? So it's like, oh, yeah, I remember that's going on.
Yes, it's still going on.
Yes. And then after our first break, our first hour, we're going to do some current events. Actually, you're going to miss out, April. We're going to talk about possible signs of COVID-19 immunity. So maybe you can listen in. And who's buying cabbage?
Us. We are. Honestly.
You're buying cabbage, huh? All right. Well, you have to listen to that too. And then
I would love to.
Yes. And then Doug is going to share a little bit about.
What do you mean a little bit?
I gave you 2 minutes, my friend.
Yeah.
Yes. Living under the ash.
I can't clear my throat in 2 minutes.
Well, that's all right. I said that Ed was going to have the mortgage minute, and I told him actually he could have 2.
Double. Mortgage 2, baby.
A little bit about publishing power, and of course we're going to have a story time, so you don't want to miss out on that. So I think it's going to be a good show today.
What are you going to do for a story?
Fantastic.
What am I going to do for a story?
Yes.
Well, if I tell you, then I'd be telling you the story.
It's going to be pretty tough.
We need a tease.
Oh, you want a tease?
It's going to be tough to beat the Love Bandit.
I know. The Love Bandit was pretty good. I like the way you named it. How about this? Breathing with no air for my story.
That's an oxymoron, I think.
Yes. Breathing with no air.
I would call that a fish out of water.
I I feel like that happens to me when I go for my run, my first mile.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's actually, yeah, I think you'll find it interesting, breathing with no air. So we'll use that as our tease for today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I feel like Doug and Ed are a little bit like Love Connection, Chuck Woolery, 2 and 2.
Really? That is a way interesting.
That's pretty funny.
That is.
Well, I do want to announce that I started with the Dell Women's Entrepreneurs Network, and
Wow.
we have a new chapter in Nevada.
Super
and
fabulous.
I am going to be leading that chapter. So
Woohoo.
if you are a woman, you're in business,
Yes.
I'm going to be inviting you to the Dell Women's Entrepreneur Network.
What about us?
Well,
Sorry,
send one to me.
What?
I will.
Did she say we weren't invited?
I guess Chuck Woolery said we're out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to find out if there's a Dell Men's Entrepreneur Network. Shouldn't there be?
Well, wait a
No chance in hell.
Come on.
If the Boy
Except
Scout-
it would be
There is no men's
DMU.
group.
That's
Instead
right.
of Dwen, it would be DMU.
Best I know, the locker rooms don't even say men's room anymore.
I know.
Right? We
don't
don't own
know.
anything, right? It's like, right?
I just like DMU. I like the acronym, right?
We don't even get our own bathroom anymore.
Yeah, the Boy Scouts have to have girls in it now, too. So why can't we be involved?
I
with
don't
it?
know. Based on the TV ads I see, it might not have been a bad thing.
I'm sure the men can join too. I was in a women's business.
I haven't
network,
seen
and
any
there
on
was
the
a couple
network.
men.
I haven't seen any on there. I've looked at the membership and I haven't seen them.
Yeah, we're probably
Maybe they're
legally
being
disallowed.
What'd you say, April?
Oh, I said maybe they're being shy.
Perhaps. All right. Well, that music tells us that it is time to take a quick break here, and then we will come back and we'll talk about timing, and it is all about timing oftentimes. So don't go away. Make sure that you stay with us, and just give us 2-3 minutes, and we'll be right back. This is What's the Story.
Hey, all you entrepreneurs out there. Whether you have a small business or work from home, LeRue Press offers a virtual office and business address for all your business needs. Located at 280 Gregg Street, Suite 10, LeRue Press is your personal assistant for friendly all-day service. Need a conference room to meet with clients? You got it. With LeRue Press, you also get phone answering service, mail forwarding, package pickup, and even help branding your business. Call LeRue Press at 849-3814 or go online to lrpnv.com.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
Matthew.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, they really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad, for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thanks, Mom, for never giving up and always being my biggest fan.
Thank you for letting me know what you expect, so I can try to meet your expectations.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Social Security is with you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere. allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Wake up, the sun below. Got another road to sow. Let the fire feel the hope swelling up from the depths of my soul.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. You are listening to What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson here with April Kempler on Zoom, Doug Ashby across from me. Probably if you're on Facebook, he might look like he's below us. And
they did that intentionally.
Ed Knoll to my right.
Hey.
And we're having a grand old time.
Indeed we are.
Yes.
Already. And speaking of time, who wants to talk about timing? You want to talk about timing?
I do.
We don't have the time for that.
So timing, right? Man, it's so crazy. I think it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy in some respects, right? That get out of bed, stub your toe, right? Then one thing after another because you're kind of like not starting running downhill. Right, and so I believe that.
But I think a lot of that is how do you react to those events, and that's the timing. That's where the timing
well, right,
comes
but you
in.
can make it.
Right, no, you can change it, but it depends on how you react to the events that determines what kind of timing you think that is.
I do believe that timing's going to be measured one day. That it's a natural law that it appears at certain times when certain things happen. I think it has. I think timing.
Are you lost?
I think timing has natural characteristics.
April, help me with this. I don't know if I followed that.
So April, you're self-employed. We're dealing with a government man, right? He knows no timing. Timing doesn't matter to him. Timing matters to us self-employed folks.
Well, I feel I'm not really on any type of time. You know, we work all the time. So
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting.
9 to 5. It's all the time. Anytime someone calls.
The clock is the same for everybody, but isn't it amazing how negative people, the clock seems to slow down? With positive people, it speeds up.
But the timing we're talking about isn't like clock time. It's like timing in your life, like when you meet a person or when you get that job interview or when you don't have a flat tire or when you do have a flat tire.
Or when business starts to pick up and then a pandemic hits.
Right. Right.
Or choosing to start a business during a pandemic.
Oh, yes. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Or choosing to get married during a pandemic. The timing.
The timing.
When is the best time for these big decisions?
Soon as possible. Don't fester, right? When you make decisions, make them. Don't let them sit around and fester. Make them and move on to the next decision.
Well, that's easy to say, but that's not always true. That's not always the right decision to make.
Well, when you don't make a decision, that's a decision. It's a wrong one usually, but it's a decision.
Are we going in circles here, guys?
Chasing our tail, huh?
So, but
Seems
right,
that way.
everyone, whether they're in a relationship or work, will oftentimes be able to point to a certain event, a certain situation where they met somebody at a party or they walked through a door and met somebody. But they're usually timing events that propel us into more opportunity.
Okay, how's Teresa?
Don't know.
So timing wasn't real red hot on that?
Not today.
But no, to Ed's point, I agree with you.
100%.
Because this is a subject, and I was very excited about it when Jan introduced the topic, because I've often thought of the timing of things and how it's how it works. It's so delicate. It could be the right place and the right time, the wrong place and the wrong time, or I don't know. Right now, everything's the wrong time because we're all kind of stuck in this.
It's because
bubble.
it's not natural.
I should quit my encyclopedia sales route then?
So, but I think the coronavirus is messed with natural law, right? It's messed with the order
But that
of
is
things.
natural law.
It
is.
So no,
I
but
disagree with you.
no.
It
Here's
is
why.
natural.
Here's why you're wrong on that. All right, the coronavirus is natural, but the whole reaction of people and government are not.
Yeah.
And that's what we're
interference
dealing
is
with,
what's
not
the
the
problem.
coronavirus, but the people's reaction to it.
But that's always.
That's a long philosophical discussion.
That's right. That's life right there.
So if we're talking about a fact or people's reaction to it, right, those are always two different things.
Go ahead, April. I know you were trying to jump in.
That's why I would love to learn more about this subject, and my book pick actually is hopefully going to help me do that. I can't wait to share that. But I for sure I think about it without an answer. I don't know the answer to this question.
They've always. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we always make our own luck, or so they say, right? When you're upbeat and you're happening, right? You get the glass half full, not half empty.
Well, my personal opinion is that it's a matter of points of reference. So sometimes the timing is such that if you act in that particular fashion and go right, you should have gone left. But then the next time it comes around and you see that same timing, you know you need to go left. And so then that reaction is okay, right?
Yep.
So I think that oftentimes timing is about observation as opposed to, so pandemic, right? So how do you react to that? They shut us all down. How do you react to that? Is it good timing or bad? Well, it's horrible timing. I mean, let's face it. Anytime your business gets shut down or you're forced to stay home, can't go to work, all those things, that timing is bad. Can you make a better timing out of it, right? So a lot of this is reaction to what is
Well, right.
presented
Do
to
we
you.
catch every red light on the way home, or are they all green?
Right. And how do you react to that? Oh, good. That I've heard people say, "Oh, well, I was delayed, but I think maybe I was delayed because then when I was driving down the road, I saw an accident."
So, but
right?
that's
timing,
right? Or people go, "Wow, I just passed that." Right? I was a second away from that accident. When you're in a car
That's
or
timing.
you see stuff, and
Yes.
and so, yep.
It's kind of a miracle thing.
It seems like it. It does.
You know, you were talking about somebody else making the decision for you. Well, then that's not your timing, then, is it really?
What do you mean somebody else making the decision for you? They didn't make the decision. They made a decision, right?
Which affected you.
That's right. But how do you react to it? You still have control over your emotions. You have control over what you do with that information. So you stick me in my house, what am I going to do? I got a computer. I'm going to do something. Right? Even if you forced me to stay in my house, it's going to be more challenging. It's not going to be maybe as much fun, but I'm going to find a way. So it depends on the resilience, the way people are, how much experience they've had in life. I mean, there's so many factors. Young, old, sometimes young responds better.
But you brought up something really fascinating, which I don't think timing operates in a vacuum, right? One of the things, we're all in a vacuum, sort of, kind of, right now. No, serious.
We're in a bubble.
So when people,
I like bubble better.
When people interact, then timing can happen.
Okay.
Timing happens even if you don't interact.
No, I agree, but we don't always notice it, but because we're by ourselves, right? When you're with others.
Depends on how observant you are. I can give you lots of depends.
I think we're back to chasing our tail again.
No, you guys are, because when you're unicorns, you see stuff different than what I'm talking about, the average individual.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do agree with Janice on that point, that you have to be observant to there's patterns and there's rhythms. And when you get in tune to that, you can almost, I hate to say it, but you can almost predict when a thing's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can meet it. And I've done it. I've put it to the test.
People call that intuition. They call it lots of things.
Well, right. It's positive attitude. It's, all those things.
I think it's using the powers of discernment as well.
So,
yes, absolutely. I agree with that.
So some people that go through life always have perfect timing and others don't.
I don't think always.
It seems like they have perfect timing.
I have terrible timing as I am running late.
So how is every ex-wife have horrible timing, right? Every ex-husband has horrible timing, right? All exes have horrible timing in discussions with their spouse. Talk to somebody who's divorced. Ex-wife always calls it the absolute wrong time.
You lost me. What does timing have? Yeah,
but you've obviously worked with a bunch of people that were divorced.
Oh, most of them.
Well, right. That's what we're talking about. I'm just saying timing in relationships is a real thing. And when you're on the outs with someone that you got to see and communicate on a child or other event, right? They never call it as convenient. It always seems like they're just off your rhythm.
Well, nothing is ever when it's convenient. Oftentimes I'll catch a cold at the worst time. I always say, this is the worst time.
Yeah.
Or, there's really no good time for that kind of thing. So I think if it's something that you're connoting as a negative, there's no good time for it. But say somebody dropped off a big package to your house, a present. There's always a good time for a present that you want.
You're kind of lost on that one, I can tell.
I am.
And that's all perceptions. It's so much experience and points of reference. I mean, it's really a complicated topic.
So what did we figure out?
Nothing at this point. To be honest, that's what we figured out. But what we're going to do is we're going to make some recommendations on, at least I am, on a couple of books that might be helpful in the realm of timing, and hopefully you guys will too.
Yeah, and I have another thing, right? Timing does happen in conversation in our frequency. For instance, I spoke the other day, if you gave me your biggest challenge and I answered it in 2 seconds, you wouldn't believe me.
That's right.
But if I tell you tomorrow,
I might.
You might. Timing.
Yep, timing. All right, and the music tells us the timing is. It's time for another break. We will be back with our book blitz next, and hopefully you'll stick around.
Have you, a friend, or family member been diagnosed with cancer? Dr. Forsyth at the Forsyth Cancer Care Center offers an all-inclusive program to treat adult types of cancer. The Forsyth Immune Protocol Cancer Treatment Plan, in a current prospective study of over 6.5 years and 1,200 adult cancer patients, has produced a remarkable 30 times greater survival statistic when compared to conventional full-dose chemotherapy. Greater than 95% of all their patients choose low-dose insulin-potentiated life chemotherapy, using only 10 to 15% chemotherapy dosing with insulin. Dr. Forsyth has long been considered one of the most respected physicians in the United States, particularly for his treatment of cancer and the legal use of human growth hormone. Located in Reno, Nevada, Dr. Forsyth has seen patients from all over the world. To schedule your consultation today, call 775-827-0707. That number again is 775-827-0707.
I know I need to pay attention to my health, but I just can't seem to find the time. Between rushing to work and taking care of the kids, there's not much time left over for me. So I decided to start small by eating more fruits and vegetables and being more active. And then I got the family to make some changes too. We started by keeping a bowl of fresh fruit on the counter, and I limit the amount of sweet snacks I keep in the house. I've also found some creative ways to add more vegetables to our meals. We're taking more walks, and on the weekends, we head down to the pool at the rec center. It doesn't happen every day, but it does happen. You don't have to change your entire life to be healthier. Just make some simple changes and include your family. You'll see how easy and fun it can be.
You can make a difference. Eat smart, play hard. And when you do, your kids will too. A challenge from USDA.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
Oh, yeah, it was like lightning. Everybody was frightening, and the music was soothing, and they all started grooving. And the man at the back said, everyone attack, and they turned into a ballroom blitz. And the girl in the corner said, boy, I wonder why it'll turn into a ballroom blitz. Ballroom blitz. Ballroom blitz. Ballroom blitz.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story, and I'm Janice Hermson. And we have been talking about timing, and that music tells us it is time for the Book Blitz, which we have kind of eliminated somewhat from our normal schedule, but the last few weeks it just seemed appropriate, so we plugged it back in again. Why not? The timing was right.
I think so. I think we tried to let it go, but it wouldn't leave us.
I know. I know. So, April, unfortunately, I think I told you that my computer is telling me nasty things here, so I'm not able to see you. But I wanna let you go first on this, and have you give us your take on the timing issue with your book.
Thank you. All right. So I don't know that I was thinking when I got this book and actually ordered it today, I can't wait to get it, but that you and I sometimes pick the same books.
I know. I'm wondering if we did.
That was my first thought, but I said, well, I'm getting it anyway.
I have a second one just in case.
Okay, good. So it's called When.
That's it.
Is it? I just love
that. Is so funny. It's okay. I have a second one if I can find it.
Knew it. The Scientific Secrets of Perfect Timing by Daniel H. Pink. So it says, we all know that timing's everything, but we don't know much about timing itself. And clearly, I don't know because I couldn't add too much to our topic, and I want to learn. But it's just a never-ending stream of when decisions, like when to start a business, when to schedule a class, get serious about a person. We make these decisions, but timing, they say, is an art, but actually it's not biology and economics involved. So it's like circadian rhythms. I'm reading this book. It's 288 pages. It's only 5 hours if you want the Audible.
I know. I was going to get it, and I have to tell you, I read the reviews.
Yes, it comes with highly recommended.
It did come highly recommended, but I went out of my way to read the ones that said they didn't like it because I wanted to see what that was. Right. And interestingly, it did dissuade me just a little bit. I was a little hesitant after I read the negatives, and there weren't that many. But and so I'm really anxious to hear what you think of it. So it was just one of those things where they were saying, oh, this has all been done already. Oh, I've already read that. Yeah. I've known that. So I'm curious when you get it to see what you think of it. It'll be
maybe it's a platform for his giving lectures
perhaps,
somewhere.
Yeah.
Come on.
It could be a business.
Come on. It can't be.
When?
What's the title of the book?
When?
The Scientific Secrets.
Big secrets, right? It's science, right? It's looking for the science. It's like the pandemic. Right. Let's follow the science, right? No one mentioned science, right? There's a science to it.
Yes.
Well, it almost has 5 stars out of 746 reviews. And so it was compelling enough for me to purchase this book.
And not compelling enough for me to buy an Audible. So how about that? But I did want to choose the book because I thought, it might answer some things for some people. Just because I chose not to doesn't mean, see, different reactions.
I was on the verge, but changed my mind, and I just wanted the book.
Right.
I read the first an excerpt from it, and it just had me at the first.
Oh, great!
The writing
That's
is
perfect.
very, very good.
All right.
These researchers did a Twitter. One thing they did was they used Twitter for research, and real quick, the one thing they found was that people in general are more positive in the morning. We get a little bit down in the afternoon, but we perk up again in the evening.
And get more creative in the afternoon, in the evening. Yeah. Yeah, we read the same thing, exactly.
Yeah, I knew it.
That's funny. No, that's perfectly all right. I'm glad I let you go first.
Thank you.
All right, Doug, you're up next.
Oh, boy, where'd that come from? I could do that better.
We startled him.
Well, hold it. Cut.
Yeah,
retake.
That's right.
Retake.
What a way to start out.
Makeup.
You know, I know my wife is listening. This is a book that she would love. And I took your challenge. I went on Amazon and I looked at, the word
Different
time.
timing, yeah.
Came up with a book by Tim Tigner. Never heard of him, but evidently he's a pretty prolific author. The name of the book is The Price of Time. Huh, how unique. And this is book one of a series of Watch What You Wish For, which I kind of like. I think that was... this is, right off of Amazon. It says there's a secret in the Silicon Valley, a discovery, an invention, one so startling and surprisingly sinister that it needs to be kept at any price. Tim Tigner introduces Zachary and Skylar in a fresh, standalone novel that's bound to keep you glued and guessing. And to speed this up, I liked what the people that made reviews said. One of them is, Tigner is the antidote to dull. And another says, a thinking man's thriller.
Easy for him to say.
So was that English or was that like German?
That was loosely translated.
Oh, okay.
A thinking man's thriller, clever to a point where you can't put the book down. I like that. I defy anyone to anticipate his plot twists, and still trying to catch my breath. He's a superb storyteller. Again, the name of the book is The Price of Time. I have to kind of put this in. So far, just about every book that I've ever recommended I have read. I have not read this one, but when I saw this, I did order it because it intrigued me. So yeah, I mean,
all right.
So what
you
they
guys
did.
will have to come back and give us reviews on these
absolutely.
things. All right, Ed, you're up.
Well, I've had a switch. I've gone with a movie that I've recently seen, and it's Avengers Endgame. And they are time travelers.
Oh.
So they go back in time to steal these rocks before the criminal gets them all and blows up the universe, right? So they go back in time and they have to pick these various segments in time. But the movie starts off with like them coming up with the idea of time travel and it being just laughable, right? Everybody talks about time travel, but it's seemingly impossible.
Excellent.
So anyway, it was quite a good timing story.
And that's what this is all about. All right. And so April, as I said, I did have a backup in case we chose the same thing. And it is Sarah Hines Stevens. It's called Show Off, How to Do Absolutely Everything, One Step at a Time. And this is for kids. And I thought that was kind of a unique approach. How many cool things can you do? The answer will amaze you, and the secrets are all in the witty and nearly wordless book. So there aren't a lot of words in the book. Are you a crafty type? Try drawing some manga or customizing your sneakers. Got a soft spot for science? Dazzle your friends with the old exploding volcano trick. Then slyly ease an egg into a bottle, or you can really get cooking by slipping fortunes into a batch of cookies and folding them like a pro. So it's a book that, encourages kids to be creative, one step at a time. So I just thought that was a good choice in light of the fact that I figured somebody would pick the same book I did.
I think that's awesome that there's a book in the kids' space on that subject.
Right.
Because
I did too.
I doubt if many read it. I hope many more would. But I love the fact that it's available.
How do you find it? Yeah.
Right.
How do you find it is the question. I never would have found it without having this topic and then saying, hey, let's look some stuff up, and I needed an alternative, and here it is. So it's called, again, Show Off: How to Do Absolutely Everything One Step at a Time. And it sounds like, and because it's wordless, it serves a lot of different aspects of children, right? And especially in this time of COVID and pandemic and being stuck at home.
Well, not only that, but it would appeal to people who don't speak or read very English or read very well. Perhaps it's the grandmother with the kids now.
And
have to work.
The back matter includes an index and information about how to get involved. So
I'll say with timing on my son, right? So Fox's mother has been giving him grief on his school scores, and he's a junior now, senior, getting ready for school, and she's wearing him out, or getting ready to, about it. And I'm like, man, he's got no big picture right now, right? He doesn't have everyday school yet, right? I mean, let him get back to not worrying about whether he's got to wear a mask at school tomorrow.
Typical parent discussions.
Right, and then catch him after January, and that timing likely will benefit him.
Right.
Anyway, recent discussion.
Well, ask any woman who needs to ask her husband for something. Timing's everything.
So, okay.
Yeah, if they're watching television, don't bother, because he nods. And he nods.
Yeah,
and yes, John,
he
you better
won't
be
even hear
listening.
you.
I know, you nod. and then later I tell you the same thing, and it's like, huh? What? Did you tell me that? It must be my short-term memory. Yeah, right.
I'm totally ignorant.
That's funny.
Well, I think we'll all agree with that.
Right.
My
That
goodness.
it was just a self-statement.
All right. Well, we are going to be right back. We will have some more from April. She's going to cover the COVID-19 fatigue. We talked a little bit about it, but she will cover it more in depth. So stay with us. You're listening to What's the Story?
Businesses, writers, check this out. Go to lrpnv.com to get your printing, publishing, and professional services today. Need a virtual office? A place to receive and forward your mail with professional address and suite number for your business? Someone to answer your telephones? Want to rent a conference room for only $15 an hour? What about that book you've been wanting to have printed? LRP Printing and Business Center can do it for you, and they have a professional assistant on site daily, Monday through Friday. Just call 775-356-1004. Need copies, business cards, invoices, books, booklets, or graphic design to help brand you or your business? Just call 775-356-1004 or go to lrpnv.com. With a great selection of new and used books, you can get your printing done and a book to entertain you in your time off. And don't forget, you could have your business sponsoring the Book Hound radio show, just like Andrew Martoni, author of Little Man on the Map, does every week. Just go to lrpnv.com. That's lrpnv.com or call 775-356-1004. They'll provide solutions for your business and writing projects.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban
or rural. You must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. You're listening to What's the Story? And I'm Janice Hermson, and here with Ed Knoll, Doug Ashby. And right now it is time for Reno Gal Says, and that would be our other co-host, April Kempler, who joins us on Zoom every week since pandemic. Welcome.
That's
back.
right. This is part of COVID fatigue. I'm waiting to come back.
Me too.
Yeah. So, it's just, I've talked to a lot of people, and their first sentiment is, I am so tired of this COVID thing.
Right.
And I think that's a common feeling. You know, sometimes you just don't want to get out of bed, or get up and then you want to go back to bed. And so it's very difficult, because it's going on. A lot of people are of the sentiment that there's really this is not going away. That's not encouraging news when I hear it. And so it develops in me a feeling of tiredness and just a sense of despair almost, and that I have to fight. I look at the news, and it just seems people are acting in these really nonsensical ways. And I'm not a political person, but i.e. the great mailbox caper, as I call it. And so it just seems that people are reacting in these ways. Sometimes in the summer, we say, oh, it's summer, there's going to be more violence because people are upset, they're angry. But it's not that right now. It could be a part of that, I suppose. Could it be the election year? There's so much uncertainty for the future. But people are just really acting out. And I feel in my conversations with some people that it's based on not having a real purpose, losing track of our purpose because of what we're having to endure, the lockdown, the quarantine, the masking, all of these things. It's making us have emotional exhaustion, feelings of anxiety, a lot of depression. There's a rise in these feelings that are happening, that are being noted, that people are having this sense of despair, and the social distancing, and this, just taking a topic of going back to school. There's so many decisions for parents to make. So the thing is, how can we help ourselves to get through this? How can we be healthy? Because a lot of times people are taking the unhealthy option of looking towards drugs and alcohol to help them cope. And so I've talked about this many times. And last week I talked about the change, it's been a bad situation, of course, but what has it changed in me? And I went through a whole bunch of personal things that I had changed. Well, I had seen a YouTube video of a style influencer that I follow, and she was feeling the same way. And she made her video blog about how she handles these feelings of what is called COVID. It's not, I don't know if it's a technical term, but she called it COVID fatigue, just being just tired of this going on and no end in sight. And so one of the things was to practice self-care. Self-care may seem selfish, but what it is basically taking care of your emotional, your mental, and your physical health. It's what gives you that motivation. It's what rejuvenates you, what helps you get to that things that need to be done in your life. Another thing suggested was writing down those feelings, or writing down even a program of self-care. Sometimes we need to really plan for that kind of thing because the schedules are very busy and hectic. I know a mother, I think she has 4 kids and she's working 2 jobs, and I text her frequently and sometimes I don't hear from her, and she's always so grateful to say, I want to talk to you. I get so busy with the 2 jobs and the kids, and then she gets home and she forgets. So people are so busy with trying to keep their head above water these days. So what we really need to do is take that time to meditate, to listen to our breathing, to get in touch with our rhythm, our pattern, so that we learn that sense of timing. What's really helpful for me is getting in touch with nature. Some people don't have nature right outside. Like, we are so fortunate. We have it here. And some don't. Maybe they live in a city. They can't get out of the city. But you can look to nature, because I have a little hummingbird feeder outside my kitchen window. And this bird just gives me so much happiness to watch. And it just is so amazing and so little and so fast. And when its wings beat, you can hear it. So it's funny to listen to what's going on outside, to hear it, to make sense of it. It calms you down and it helps you to get more in touch, to have that sense of peace and to motivate you more. It just brings a sense of inner peace. Is it going to solve your problems? No, none of this is going to solve all the problems, but it will bring that calm that we need, because there's no sense of calm these days. And one other thing is to find a new hobby. Perhaps there's cooking you want to learn how to do, or painting. Paul's trying to learn painting. I want to revisit my languages. I took French in high school. I learned Spanish for 3 years. I went to a church in the Spanish community for 3 years, and I would like to get back in touch with that. So, maybe there's something you can do. Another thing I hadn't thought of was making things first things, like, do a different walk, or have a different experience, so that you change up your routine. And really, it's okay to take that time out for yourself.
Ed wants to jump in here.
Yeah,
I know he's dying to. I see him. I see him at the corner of my eye laughing at me too.
No,
not at all.
Trying to jump in. And
you haven't taken a breath in 3 minutes, right? I can't get in.
She was on a roll.
I need to breathe and listen to my breathing.
But your information was all correct, except I think one thing, and this is not caused by coronavirus. It is caused by people sheltering in place, right? We've listened to people and gone into our cubby holes and withdrawn. And you're right with all that you're saying and stuff. But to me, the coronavirus didn't cause it. It's being caused by us being shut up. It could be shut up by anything. To me, it's not the disease that's causing it. It's what they're telling us to do.
I think it's just the effect. It's the effect that this disease has caused, and we're feeling the effects of the mishandling, perhaps, of how we need to.
Mishandling, perhaps? Come on, could that be any wishy-washy?
I'm not wishy-washy. I don't know what to believe. I just know we need to stay safe. But this is not. There's an equalizing. How do you balance staying safe, but you also have your mental well-being to take care of as well. And
April, you mentioned a word at the beginning when you started to speak, and I wrote it down because I think it's so important. You said tired, and I think what I'm tired of, it's very simple, my lack of freedom. This country was founded on freedom, and it's been taken away. You can't go to this restaurant. You go to this store, you have to walk down the aisleway this way.
I love the arrows.
Exactly. You have to stay 6 feet. There's somebody that will tell you don't have your mask on. You got to do this. You got to do that. It drives me crazy. It's just.
It has that. tiring effect.
I think that would be called COVID fatigue.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We haven't mentioned this real quick. There was a store, I think it was Mother's Foods in Orange County. It was in the news. And this lady that ran it or owned it, one or the other, a bunch of people were in her store without masks on. So she ran over and locked the door and called the police. And the police came out and arrested the people for not having masks. Well, it brings up several questions. Number one, did she want to solve the question of having a mask on? I don't think so.
No, she liked telling people what to do.
Exactly, because if she
was
did,
afraid
these
of
people,
confrontation, and yet she created bigger confrontation.
She had to lock the door to keep them in to prove that she was right. But what amazes me, the police.
It's a lack of control. We're feeling, one of the things that this woman that I followed said was that what determines our success or failure, there's two types of people, I believe. And she said that one person is outside factors and circumstances, and the other person it's internal factors, our own efforts and feeling a sense of control in our life that has to do with our success or failure. So I think some people they are lacking control and they're wanting to control others.
Right. It's personal responsibility, though. Ultimately, right? You're either personally responsible or you're not.
Right.
But they're afraid, and you can't get through with that.
Well, that's no personal responsibility when you're afraid.
But it's exhausting us. It's making us tired because we're not like that, and it is having an effect.
It definitely is.
Ed just said something. When you're afraid, that's not personal responsibility?
It's what you do with it, though. It's just being afraid isn't taking any responsibility.
No, I mean, you can have. I'm taking personal responsibility. I'm getting my gun out. I'm going to shoot you, but I'm certainly afraid of that.
I hope not.
This is from the man who doesn't like guns.
I don't. I hate them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You say it all the time. All right. Well, this is coming up on our longer break. If you are watching on Facebook, hopefully you'll hang with us about 5 to 7 minutes. After we cut out of here, we will be coming back with our second hour. April, thanks for being with us the first hour. We'll look forward to when you can do that more often to be there.
Yes, thank you.
See you, young lady.
Yeah, we miss you.
We do
I
miss
you guys. Yeah. I miss you guys terribly.
No more COVID fatigue. We got to get over that.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
All right. We're going to come back in just a few, talk about some current events, the business spotlight with the Mortgage Minute, and Publishing Power, and then some story time. So hang out.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media Radio, heard worldwide on the web at americamatters.us and on KCKQ 1180 AM, Reno.
USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
Postmaster General Louis DeJoy says the United States Postal Service will not carry out some operational and organizational changes, such as removing mail processing equipment or collection boxes, until the end of the November election. North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein says that's not enough.
It is going to be filed. Look, these are positive steps. I'm happy to hear what DeJoy has said today. But honestly, they're just words on a paper. We need binding commitments that they will not make further changes and that they will undo the damage that they've done.
The Democratic AG speaking there on Fox News, and half as many Americans are watching the Democratic National Convention compared to 4 years ago. About 5.8 million tuned in last night to ABC, CBS, or NBC. 11.6 million watched 4 years ago. This is USA Radio News.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I've been on this balance of nature for quite some time now. I know that what you put in your body is critical to your health. I listen to AM radio out of Dallas, and you have these people on there witnessing about the difference it's made in their life. Now, all these people aren't lying about this. I hadn't even had as much as a cold since I've been taking this, and I'm telling you, my energy level has increased unbelievable. So I'm impressed with it.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code USA.
Members of President Trump's 2016 campaign were in frequent contact with individuals linked to the Russian government, raising counterintelligence concerns at the time, but there is no evidence they colluded to influence the election. That's according to a Senate report that was released on Tuesday. The committee notes Russia took advantage of the inexperience among members of the president's transition team, as well as their desire to roll back Obama-era policies to create unofficial channels through which it would connect to the incoming administration. Shark sightings in the New York City area continue to increase. Fisherman Tim Brinley shows pictures of a dead 10-foot great white he caught in his net 2 miles off the New Jersey coastline.
We looked at each other and I said, "Oh my God, that's a great white." I looked down and it was big. It was so big.
Brinley speaking there on NBC News. There have been dozens of shark sightings off the coast of Long Island beaches this summer. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Working from home? I'm Chad Dodd, veterinarian and consultant to Limp Bells. Here are some tips for keeping your dog fit while staying at home. Find 15 minutes twice a day and walk your pet at a decent pace around your place. Play hide and seek by hiding some kibble or favorite toys and letting your dog find them. If you have stairs and your dog is mobile, walk up and down twice a day for 5 to 10 minutes. Or better yet, try a power walk on your terrace or backyard for some fresh air. There are more helpful pet care tips at youmove.com, spelled YOUMOVE.com.
With the national debt adding $2.8 trillion so far this year and the deficit approaching $26.5 trillion, publisher and author Steve Forbes says the biggest concern is what is done to handle it.
Well, what's behind it is what is concerning. And the real question is, what do we do about it? The Democrats want to raise taxes, put on new regulations, which would hurt the economy. The only way we're ever going to get on top of this debt is having a vibrant, growing economy like Ronald Reagan did in the 1980s, or what we did after World War II, where a little bit of spending restraint, good economy. By golly, the debt as a proportion of the economy declined dramatically. From the end of World War II, it fell to almost 75%.
Forbes continuing on Newsmax TV.
So the answer is, what kind of economic environment are we going to create after the elections this year? That's why this election is so significant. Couldn't have two starker contrasts.
And finally, Amazon is planning to hire 3,500 employees in 6 cities. The positions are in corporate and tech sectors, including Alexa, Amazon Fashion, and Amazon Fresh. They're hiring in Dallas, Detroit, Denver, New York, Phoenix, and San Diego, with most of the positions located in New York. Amazon employees currently work from home through January of next year. For more news, you can find us online at usaradio.com. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The following is an America Matters Media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Now she's gone like a little Enoch song, all the way to MIA, where she thinks that she belongs. Poof, now she's gone like a little Enoch song, all the way to MIA, where she thinks that she belongs.
Hey, welcome back. This is What's the Story? This is our second hour, and just here having a little bit of blueberry muffins and enjoying the afternoon. Tuesday afternoon.
It's like a picnic.
It is. It is. Yeah. Distanced picnic, right?
Yeah, with good timing.
Yeah.
With good time. We love it. If you didn't hear the first part of the show, it's all about the timing. So,
and you missed out.
That's right.
And I'm going to tell you, if you're locking your loan, it's about timing.
Oh boy, isn't that the truth? And we're going to talk a little bit about that in the next segment. This time around, I wanted to talk about the fire that's happening outside of. Oh, it's your turn. Look at you. You have a turn.
Oh, that's great. Okay, flip the little timer over.
He can't do 2 minutes. There's no way.
I can. I can do. I'll tell you what. I will do it as if I were standing on a ridge overlooking this Loyalton fire that's giving us all the smoke.
Okay, so we're in Reno, Nevada.
We're in Reno, Nevada.
And we are dealing with a ton. I had ash. I said living under the ash because my patio was full of ash.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm a reporter looking out over. Oh boy, look at that! It's big.
This is your report.
How'd I do? That was pretty quick.
I was going to say that ash will help the gardens.
Okay,
that's right.
Well,
yeah.
good.
That's right.
My tomato plants.
Hey, we can make light of it. It's a terrible thing. At last count, at least what I saw on the internet, was that 5 people have lost their homes and six outbuildings have been destroyed. So it's a terrible thing. We're certainly not making light of what they're going through. But
I do want to mention, too, that the Wainema Ranch is fine. It is not, being affected at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we on the western side of the United States, we're used to this. When we have hot weather, when we have dry weather, and we have windy weather, we go through this. In the fire service, there's something that most people don't want to hear, but it's the truth. When the wind blows and there's a fire, a wildland fire, you're not going to put it out. You just can't get in front of it with the right resources. So this has grown from yesterday. It was about 36,000 acres. Today it's over 43,000 acres. And what I had to I kind of had to laugh because on the internet it said, this is yesterday morning, the fire is now estimated at 36,295 acres, and we have it 5% contained, and that's pretty good progress. I go, boy, I don't know what book they're looking at. I'd say that's not. But one of the things, the reason that we get the smoke down here in Reno, because number one, it's close, but when you have a fire of that magnitude and everybody can see the smoke plumes as it goes up in the air, well, when you put a lid on that because of an inversion or because of wind, it blows it down to our level. But can you imagine what that's doing up on the fire line? Because when you get that downward draft, any fire lines that they have created have just almost been lost because sparks fly to the other side of it, the wind blows it out there, so you're just not going to get it contained. Now, the resources that they've had on it, they have today 765 personnel, close to 12 hand crews, 10 helicopters, 42 fire engines. Well, what does it matter if I give all those statistics? Because each one of those things do something different. The fire engines usually go around and protect people in their homes. The personnel on camp crews usually go around and they're cutting fire lines, and they had 18 bulldozers. 18 bulldozers really do one heck of a job, because what they're doing is they're eliminating that brush, hopefully in front of this fire, so when it burns up to it, it will go out, because they don't have any water to put fires out. It's all, letting that burn up. And with that, I think they're doing a good job. Tomorrow, we'll see, as long as we don't get, and oh, by the way, this was started by a lightning strike last Friday.
Oh,
so
okay. I wondered what started that.
And I was going to go into that, sometimes, why don't they just let them burn, right? Like in Loyalton, right? I know there's a lot of sparse, right?
Sure.
I mean, there's not a lot of congestion up there. There's a lot of space for it to
that's where
burn.
these tractors come in handy. Oh, can you imagine the amount of line that they can create? 18 bulldozers. I mean, they're doing, and then you have the air show. Helicopters and DC-10s and 747s are two different tools. The DC-10s and the 747s, they lay down fire retardant. They go in front of the fire, lay it down, so hopefully the fire will burn up to it.
We had the opportunity to see them working. That was magic on that Arrow Creek fire.
Yeah.
Right? They put that out quick. They dropped thousands of gallons of retardant within there's track homes, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
In between, they're dropping it on the fence lines in between. They lost. Well, the fire was started in a home, so they lost that home and a home next to it, but that was it. I thought they did it. That was right in front of us, and that was exceptional.
Well, helicopters are a different type of tool. They don't have the retardant on board. They have just water, and they drop usually about 400 gallons a time, and they work in conjunctions with a hand crew to make that line. They make it tenable for those hand crews to cut lines. So different tools for different jobs, and it all goes to naught when you get the winds.
Yeah, that's true.
Wowza.
Okay, how many minutes?
That was a very good report. A little longer, but that's all right.
Oh, darn.
It's
So
okay.
hold
It
it.
was very informative.
4 minutes, 13 seconds.
Really informative and much appreciated, because
Thank you.
I actually, on Nextdoor, when I was on there, somebody said, can somebody tell me what's going on with the fire? And I thought, well, you really should just Google it. But then I said, no, it's a great opportunity to market the show. So I went on there and I said, well, we're going to have somebody talk about that. Listen in.
What's the Stories a browser?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
You can just go, you can search for anything under What's the Story. We'll find it.
Yeah.
That's right. So I touted your expertise.
Perfect. Thank you.
So there you go. All right. Well, we're going to come back, and if we have time, we'll talk a little bit more about those two other stories I mentioned about cabbage and COVID-19. And then Ed's going to do some mortgage minutes, and we'll talk some publishing. We'll be right back.
Hey, all you entrepreneurs out there. Whether you have a small business or work from home, LeRue Press offers a virtual office and business address for all your business needs. Located at 280 Gregg Street, Suite 10, LeRue Press is your personal assistant for friendly all-day service. Need a conference room to meet with clients? You got it. With LeRue Press, you also get phone answering service, mail forwarding, package pickup, and even help branding your business. Call LeRue Press at 849-3814 or go online to lrpnv.com.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. I help people solve difficult and trying personal problems every day on my TV show, but there's one problem that's just got me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. That's 1 in 5 kids who may not know where their next meal is coming from, despite the fact that there's more than enough healthy, nutritious food out there to feed them all. Now, I don't know about you, but that is unacceptable to me. Luckily, the Feeding America network of good people is out there collecting surplus food and giving hope to hungry children and their families at local food banks all across the country. But let's face it, they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
I spend a lot of time in the garage,
but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In 05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in 09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
GreatBasinHighway.com, Great Basin Highway magazine, radio show. Visit GreatBasinHighway.com and sign up for a free online subscription to our magazine.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
Are you ready to sing the blues? Are you willing to listen to this next man? Man got his harmonica in his hand. Good God, ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Joe! Bobby Joe!
And we are back, and we miss Bobby Joe.
I know. Wasn't that nice? The fur on the back of my neck got up.
I know. Is he here? Is he here?
I was getting ready to jump up and start
dancing.
Yep. Bobby Joe Holman used to do a little part in our show, and we miss him, but maybe he'll come back. He got married, and he's having a life. How about that? A life. What is that?
No comment.
Too bad everybody can't see that. That spoke volumes, didn't it?
I've been trying to have a life.
I know. So sorry. All right, so let's do a little bit of Mortgage Minute, or 2 or 3. He gets 2 or 3.
So much.
Because he doesn't talk as much as you do.
Oh, damn.
So much stuff is going on. It is so juicy and so exciting, right?
Yeah.
So everyone knows rates have been low, right? You've seen like ridiculous things advertised. Well, believe it or not, they were true, right? Rates are great. Last week, the Fannie and Freddie Mae, FHFA, the head of those organizations, raised a tax of a 0.5 point on refinances. They told us Wednesday at 4:30. The next day they said lock or we're implementing. And so it was a mad dash to lock folks up before rates went up for them.
Right.
And so that was like dominating. But, you know, when I talk to mortgage folks, they're saying first-time buyers, hey, now's your time. Rates will never be lower. If you can't buy now, right, rates go to 3, you're out of the game, right? And they're likely going to move further away from 0 than closer
One
to.
can only hope. I mean, it's
so
healthy for us to have it go up a little.
Here we're in a super healthy, strong market, and prices are going higher, and it's expensive. But if you're a first-time buyer, man, get that credit in line and work on getting in because, like I said, if you can't qualify debt ratio now, the loans will never be cheaper.
Debt ratio being, explain what that is.
Debt ratio is your gross monthly income dividing into your monthly minimum payments on like credit cards, car payment. and your new house payment.
Right. And before you do anything about that, make sure you talk to a mortgage advisor, because they will let you know what will hurt your credit, what won't, and if they can't, they'll send you to somebody who can.
Yeah, find somebody you can trust, right? Use your coaching, find somebody you can trust.
Yeah,
and
because
go
sometimes
with them.
people think that you need to pay off all this stuff, and sometimes when you do that, it affects your credit in a negative way. Doesn't seem logical, but that's what happens.
And then I had a realtor standpoint real quick, and he said, hey, right, I want to know what's happening locally. And the fact is, anything under 300,000 is getting multiple offers in northern Nevada, right? If you're at 350, you might be getting it. If you get above 350, you're probably getting single offers. But anything under 300,000 is getting multiple offers.
Wow.
It's real estate's happening. So, it's a great time, folks. Take a look. Don't let it pass you by.
Right. Well, that was well done. How'd he do?
2 minutes. 21 seconds.
Oh, well, I ran over. Daggone it.
He planned it. He planned it for 2. So I wanted to talk about the power of publishing just a little bit. With the pandemic, it's real interesting because we are a printer, a publisher, a bookseller. We have a business center, so we have a diversified business. So it was interesting to watch when that hit, the effect that it had on us, and how certain parts of it just seemed like they just went completely away. But then other parts, like the publishing, grew quickly. All of a sudden, everybody was coming in with their books, and they were talking about what they wanted to do.
Pressure points.
Right, exactly. And the reason that publishing has so much power, especially to a business person, it's really the best way you could communicate. And it doesn't have to be a book. When we talk about this, we're always talking books. And often business owners especially are like, I am too busy. I don't have time to sit down and write a book. And though that can be a really good way to promote your message and to talk about your company, and it also can be done in smaller forms. So the book is the biggest, and then you can kind of bring it down from there. And that's something that when we talk to people, we advise them, what's the best way to get your message out? Maybe a book isn't for you. And I actually did advise somebody once. He said, should I do it? And I was like, well, I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, it's what we do, and I'd sure love to have you do it, but I couldn't help you sell it, right? And if you can't, or if you're not going to give it away, then why do it, right?
Just kind of had a crazy idea.
Oh, no.
Which I have quite often. But REI selling their headquarters, right? So they built this great headquarters with a lake and wherever, upstate New York, I think. And they were going to move in, and pandemic hit, haven't moved in, and it's for sale, right? So a lot of companies are realizing, they don't need that placard.
Right.
But guess what? They could do it with a book.
Right.
Right? That placard.
So I need to call them.
I think so. Or others. But
There's my lead for the day.
So if you look at Google and Facebook and all of the space these folks have, that's just concrete now.
Right, it's true.
Right.
But I also wanted to mention, going back on the topic of publishing, it allows you so much creativity. My sister started doing, she wants to get back into her art. Part of what she's doing is journaling. And so there's lots of ways that, you can share your story. And so I do want to mention too, and I believe I want to mention it in this segment, that I'm looking for entrepreneurs to send me a paragraph, send me something about you, so that we can have you on our business spotlight and talk about your business, similar to what you and I just did.
All you women are crazy not to join that entrepreneur group.
Yes.
And right there's some built-in.
Right. So we've got that. We've got the business spotlight. That's for everybody. It's not just women.
Oh, guys can apply for that.
Yes, they can. So I want to make sure that everybody knows about that. And if you have any questions about books, obviously I'd be happy to answer those.
I have to jump in here because I have been on both sides of the publishing issue. First time I published my book, it was done by what I thought were reputable people. They professed to be a good Christian publisher. I mean, we even went back to Mustang, Oklahoma, and interviewed them before I had them do it. Turned out to be scoundrels. They Matter of fact, there were 11 felonies filed against them. Now I'm with Janice Hermsen. And the one thing that Janice, you were saying about these are the things that we do. The overriding issue that people have to understand about Janice is she is somebody that you can trust, and if she says something, that's what. By virtue of the fact that she told somebody, I don't know if I'd do that or not. How much more honest can you be?
So I think it's safe to say she's not a scoundrel.
No. Yeah. And there's not 11 felonies in her history here?
No. Not coming up either.
I mean that very honestly, and it has to be. If you don't have a relationship with your publisher and your editor, which
it's
I did,
a must.
So, but
right.
no, that if you need a reference, I'll be
Thanks.
On your. We'll look at your resume later.
All right, we'll talk about that another time.
But I do think there's that place for organizations that are losing their flagship stores, their what they used to be proud of, right? Their real estate, and that's kind of going away.
Ed, I heard a little talking head on the radio say something about an insurance office in New York was, 50 stories. They only have it 20% leased now. So people are bailing on New York.
Well, commercial space is a tough space right now. It's bubble area everywhere, right? People just don't need retail.
Well, one of the things that they said is that, especially in New York, people are finding that we don't need to use the old model.
Right. Do you see that in Reno as well? That I didn't feel that it was as much here as it might be in other places.
So the challenges I see, and I'm not in that space, right? This is just me driving around. Right. But the fact is that if a restaurant goes out of business and there's other spaces in there, that means more than one's got to come back.
Right, that's true.
And that's where I'm looking at is it's not just the one we needed. They were building space for the build out.
Right.
And we've had a contraction. And then hospitals are working from home. They need less space. They've worked that pretty smartly.
How do you work a hospital from home?
Oh, the administrators can fill up a giant-sized building.
That's right. Come on over to my bedroom. I think we can operate there.
Doug, really? What am I going to do with you?
Man, his frequency is just a little special today.
It's my timing.
His timing is interesting.
He's got it going on.
Least. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, I was going to try and do that cabbage story. Well, maybe we'll do it in the next segment.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh. Yeah. No wonder you didn't want to get a teaser. You knew we were going to run long on this.
I'm going to do the cabbage story, and I'm going to do the COVID story. We'll do it in the next segment.
German or Korean? Right?
My goodness, you guys.
Kimchi or sauerkraut?
Sauerkraut.
And what was his major in college? Nutrition.
That's right.
So he should know.
That's right. He does know.
Right.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break here, and then when we come back, we'll do that, and then we'll have some story time coming up after that. We got some good stuff going on. So stay with us. If you're watching on Facebook, hang in there a little bit more. All right. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Patterson. I'm the founder and owner of Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists. At Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists, we take a comprehensive approach to treating patients with chronic pain in the greater Reno, Tahoe area. We believe in the biopsychosocial model. This means we use multiple disciplines such as massage therapy, physical therapy, behavioral health, and medical treatments to treat your chronic pain. A plan of care is tailor-made for each individual patient. We always recommend conservative care first, but offer minimally invasive treatments when necessary. We are your one-stop shop. If it hurts, we can help. We pride ourselves in providing passionate care and making you feel welcome and understood. We are located in Reno and in Sparks, so give us a call to schedule a new patient consult at 284-8650. Again, that's 284-8650. Or visit our website at nvadvancedpain.com. We hope you choose Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists to be your center for injury rehabilitation. nvadvancedpain.com, 284-8650.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mama. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay. Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Wake up, the sun below. Got another road to sow. Let the fire feel the hope swelling up from the depths of my soul.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson here with Ed Knoll and Doug Ashby. And we've just been talking about just about anything today.
We just reached a conclusion that I don't eat enough green leafy vegetables.
Yeah.
So we've had a heated discussion this afternoon.
I know. It was really, we should have been on air on that. That was kind of fun.
Yeah,
that was fun.
What veggies do you eat? Almost none.
So, I like corn and squash and tomatoes and peppers.
Wow.
And all that pepper world and pickle stuff, I can eat all that stuff.
Pickles.
Very interesting. So I am looking for my story for you guys because I told you I would share that with you. And gosh, do you think I can find it? Of course not. It closed up on me.
Was there a crown
Okay, let's
of
talk
cabbage?
about Ed and guacamole then.
No,
Okay.
I got it right here.
Oh, there we go. Good save. Good save. Because I know.
I just don't understand why it didn't open.
So
I had
this-
it open and now it's closed.
It's just like politics, right? Avocado is popular. It's in the good crowd, right? It's moving through the world. I am in the small minority of folks that don't like it.
Seed's too big, huh?
I don't get that far, right? I mean, I can't. I just don't like the texture of it. Never have.
Avocados, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. How about grapes?
Yep, like them.
You like them especially when stomped by people's feet? That's
No,
called wine?
preferably not. There was a time when I did, but I kind of like them fresh off the vine.
Yeah.
So do you guys know who Cabbage is? Are you familiar with the company Cabbage?
The doll things?
No.
Cabbage dolls?
Patch?
Well,
No,
there's
no.
Cabbage Patch and Cabbage
No,
Other.
no. Cabbage is a company, and Cabbage is a company that would lend to a business. And so if you had a certain amount of accounts receivables, they would lend you on those receivables.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
So
Did they ever do a test group with that name?
I don't know. But it's Cabbage with a K.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's why I knew when I was saying cabbage, you guys all thought I was talking about
Yeah.
food. I could tell you had never heard of cabbage.
So it also makes me way more interested that it's not a food.
Right. So American Express actually agreed to buy the online lender Cabbage. This is according to The Street. So the transaction represents an important step toward American Express's goal of being an essential partner to small businesses through a broad range of payment, cash flow, and financial management tools. I think it's really interesting because I wouldn't think of American Express as being the
Business
choice,
leader.
right, in that kind of business transaction for myself as an entrepreneur. It just would not be in that realm. First of all, I think that they would be too expensive. Just the branding itself.
All the image.
Yeah, the image stuff, the branding itself is like, oh boy, that's going to cost me, right? That would be my first thought.
Well, it's not Dollar Loan Center.
No. So AMX already is the biggest credit card issuer for small business and consumers. Yeah, but their credit card's a little different than most. And so the deal will expand its lead. For several years, American Express has been expanding beyond the industry-leading commercial credit card products to offer our business customers a growing set of payment and working capital solutions, because that's how people would use that. Obviously, when you borrow against your accounts receivable, you're borrowing because you're waiting 30 days on that. They're giving you money ahead so that your cash flow is a little bit better. I just have never thought of American Express as being that kind of company. So this acquisition accelerates our plans to offer U.S. small businesses an easy and efficient way to manage their payments and cash flow digitally in one place, which is more critical than ever in today's environment. The timing is pretty good on this, right?
So, right, somebody's idea, or it was an idea already in the hopper that got sped up.
Right. And what does Cabbage add? By bringing together Cabbage's innovative technology and talented team with their broad distribution capabilities and over 60 years of experience backing small business, we can better help our customers successfully emerge from this challenging period and beyond. Full disclosure here, I did work for American Express, so at one time.
I haven't, but
before they were Ameriprise.
So, but it was the first credit card I had because they gave them to college graduates. Didn't need a job.
Right.
I graduated, I got an American Express card.
Well, there you go.
And so I was loyal to them for that for a long time until it didn't suit my needs at the time. But I've always thought them pricier.
Right. And that's the image.
Until I saw that Charles Schwab building over there at Ranchera. Right? I mean, come on. I'm not banking with someone whose place looks like a castle. Right? They're spending money on something else.
Yeah, with your dollars.
Right. Well, that's what I believe, right? What's American Express doing? They got that lion thing.
Yeah. Well, I have some good news on the COVID-19 front from the New York Times, of all places.
Hold on. Turn the volume off, Christian.
Yeah.
Good news is not allowed to go out over the airwaves.
And it's from scientists, and this is, again, the New York Times is reporting this, that scientists see signs of lasting immunity to COVID-19 even after mild infections. Go figure.
Yeah.
Immunity. My goodness. So new research indicates that the human immune system cells are storing information about the coronavirus so they can fight it off again. Who knew that would happen? What scientist didn't tell us that?
Well, anyone who
No
deals
sarcasm
with bugs.
here.
Yeah.
To the immune system, not all germs are equally memorable, but our body cells seem to be seriously studying up on the coronavirus. Boy, this person was creative, weren't they? This was from Catherine J. Wu. Oh,
pretty good imagination.
Scientists who have been monitoring immune responses to the virus are now starting to see encouraging signs of strong, lasting immunity, even in people who developed only mild symptoms of COVID-19. A flurry of new studies suggest disease-fighting antibodies, as well as immune cells called B cells and T cells, that are capable of recognizing the virus, appear to persist months after the infections have resolved. So it's an encouraging echo of the body's enduring response to other viruses. So oh my goodness, this name is fun. Deepta Bhattacharya, an immunologist, says things are really working as they're supposed to. So that's, I guess, good news, right?
Well, what do you do? I mean, we didn't. It just has to work through.
This is like reporting that fire 5% contained. We're making good progress.
Well, this is exactly what we hope for. What we would hope for, said Mason Pepper, an immunologist at the University of Washington, and an author of another of the new studies, which is currently under review at the journal Nature. All the pieces are there to have a totally protective immune response. So what we as average humans thought is now being told to us in this form of science.
What you just explained to me, as far as I was concerned, is that's capitalism at its finest. You know it? No, I mean, really, that's what all these companies are working on it, because they want to be the first to solve the problem. Right. Because there's certainly a nest egg at the end if they do. Right. What other system of government can say that?
So we are greedy, and it has driven us.
That's
right?
okay.
I mean, no, it is, but I mean that's
the bottom line.
It is.
So this is a little bit confusing, because it says antibodies also come with an expiration date. Because they are inanimate proteins and not living cells, they can't replenish themselves, so disappear from the blood just weeks or months after they're produced. Hordes of antibodies appear shortly after a virus has breached the body's barriers. This is getting into the weeds a bit. But even when not under siege, the body retains a battalion of longer-lived B cells. Okay, so that's what they're saying, that they do tend to go away, but now they're finding some that are...
They got backup.
Yeah. They got backup. Perfectly
That's right.
said.
They called back up when they see it, and they got it.
Yep. Several studies, including those led by this lovely Dr. Bhattacharya and Dr. Pepper. Oh, yeah. Dr. Pepper. How about that?
Did they take this down from Google? You sure?
Have found antibodies capable of incapacitating the coronavirus lingering at low levels in the blood months after people have recovered from COVID-19. So the antibodies decline, but they settle in what looks like a stable nadir, N-A-D-I-R. No, I don't know what that means. Do you? Mr.
Nope, I don't know what nadir is. It sounds like a woman's name.
It does, doesn't it? Which is observable about 3 months after symptoms start. The response looks perfectly durable, is his comment. Oh, it's a long article. Perfectly durable.
So I wish I could speak like that. Right? Sometimes I can. Sometimes I can, but I would love to say to somebody, that's perfectly durable. Right?
It's a very long article. I am going to post it on What's the Story, so that if you want to read the whole thing, like I say, it's from the New York Times. Wouldn't be where I would expect positive news, about. Well, I just wouldn't. They tend to kind of prefer to be a little bit negative, so that's kind of good. I guess.
think the story must have snuck through. All the editors are all fat and happy, thinking that the world's going their way. So maybe a couple of the copy boys had.
They're at home with the people from the hospitals.
They snuck in a couple of conservative reports.
No, that doesn't happen, does it?
I'm just dreaming.
I see. All right. So that's our lovely story about the COVID-19 and cabbage. So there you go.
Interesting on that.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was really good that they put it out there, and that they're letting people know that there is hope, because from the COVID-19 fatigue story, we all need some hope, because we need to get out of this. It's time, right?
Yeah, we should talk about those college kids.
We can do that another time. All right, when we come back, we're going to do some story time, and it will be breathing with no air. So come on back and listen to the story.
You hear it all the time. Buy local, think local, eat local, choose local, grow local. But who the heck really is local? You can shop with locals at the Nevada Marketplace in the Reno Town Mall and search for locals at buynevadafirst.com. We're all local all the time.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they?
talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know. Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
So here's the choice. Some people say the USA is finished. It's evil, a has-been, full of hate and injustice. The U.S. Constitution should be trashed and the Bill of Rights abolished. No free speech, no gun ownership. Competition and free markets are bad. We're all too stupid. For our own good, the government must own everything and know all your secrets.
Other people say that America has created the freest, richest, happiest, most generous society that has ever existed in the world. That's why millions of people are desperate to come here and escape their brutal lives in Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, and 100 other countries.
In America, we have the right to succeed, the right to our own living, the right to have a family, the right to believe in God, the right to have our own ideas, the right to be safe and secure, and the right to be left alone.
Where do you stand? Help us save the Constitution and restore the American dream. Go to SaveMyFreedom.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
If you see activity that seems suspicious, threatening, or criminal in nature, please speak up and say something. Anonymously report suspicious activity online at keepnevadasafe.org. Sponsored by a grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and Nevada Department of Public Safety. Learn more at keepnevadasafe.org.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? And I'm Janice Hermson, and we have had an awesome afternoon.
We have. It's been fun.
We
always
really
fun.
have. It's been mind-opening for me. Actually, oftentimes we come and talk. Today we were like futuristic.
That's right.
And that's preparing for your trip to Colorado, right?
No, to Wyoming.
Wyoming. Okay.
What is
that?
When
are you going to do that?
We loosely call it backpacking, but it's a group of my brother and family, Uncle Jim and others. And we have gone, this is pushing 30 years that they've done it. I've done it like 22 years. And
wow.
I said it's really fun. One year we went in and we've never really allowed technology at all and came out and OJ was innocent one year. That was really big news. But just go in the backcountry, do day hiking, unwind, right? Disconnect and
totally disconnect.
We do.
I don't
have,
know if I could do that.
We have satellite radio, but I never get on my phone. Right, phone's
Really?
dead, phone's off, and it's like 10 days. It's a nice, right? It's like the only time of the year where I shut it down like that.
That's nice, though.
Huh. Yeah, it would be nice to get away from. Because you're bombarded here with stuff. You know what? Whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, it's constantly there.
Well, I have found,
ding, ding,
I have found lately that I just go home, I shut off my phone and don't turn on the TV and just kind of read and do different things. And
have you done different stuff since the pandemic?
Yes.
And I have
matter of
too.
fact.
I was going to say, I don't listen to the radio at all
No.
in my car. None in my car.
I do listen in my car, but not the same stations. And I've been varying between music and, and generally I would do talk radio. That was just my deal.
Me too, and sports.
Yeah.
And that's just a non-issue for me now.
Right.
Sports?
Well,
there
talk
isn't any.
radio or they're playing the NBA playoffs. If I've gone on and seen it from from the camera from above the baskets, and they're in their bubble. But there's no, right? It's like playing in a vacuum. There's no emotion. It would be like us. So let's zoom it. Right, we're all at home and we don't have the emotional feed
energy,
off each other.
The energy is different.
And so there's no people there that the fans or that the folks can feed off. So it's like, basketball in their homes.
Right.
They're showing off for each other.
Back with
it's
the
a different
people from the hospital, right?
Yeah.
It's different to me. I mean, I'm glad they're trying to forge on. I just don't prefer it.
Right. No, I'm glad they are too. I think it's better to have
somebody's got
to
forge. Somebody's got to forge on.
Right. Yeah, some sense of normalcy, and I think that was kind of when April was talking about the COVID-19 fatigue. I felt you have to ignore a lot of it, and that's kind of how I've dealt with it. You can't ignore it completely, of course, but just to try to ignore the majority of it, keep moving forward, and if anything, use timing and weave through those spots that you might not get to otherwise, because right now people are shut down, they're doing things, so take advantage.
Take a
terrible
chance.
Thing, isn't it?
It's not, it's opportunistic.
It is opportunistic, but I feel like you have to look for that. You have to look for that opportunity, because now is the time. It's a perfect time for it. If there is one, look for it.
Totally agree.
If we're going to stay in business, and we are, then look for those opportunities.
Right, if you care about eating and having choices.
Exactly. So before I do run out of time here, because this is our last segment, I want to do our story for today, which is called Breathing with No Air. And as some of you know, I like to do stories with purpose, and they're kind of, I'll just read it. Breathing with No Air, and it's a boy once asked a wise old man what the secret to success is. After listening to the boy's question, the wise man told the boy to meet him at the river in the morning, and he'd be given the answer there. In the morning, the wise man and the boy began walking toward the river. They continued on into the river past the point of the water covering their nose and mouth. At this time, the wise man ducked the boy into the water.
Nice guy.
As he struggled to get out, the wise man continued to push him further down. The boy felt a fish slip by his leg and squirmed to get up even harder. The man eventually pulled the boy's head up so he could get air. The boy gasped as he inhaled a deep breath of air. The wise man said, "What were you fighting for when you were underwater?" The boy replied, "Air." The man said, "There you have the secret to success. When you want to gain success as much as you wanted air when you were underwater, you'll obtain it. That's the only secret."
That's right. There's your passion.
That's the passion, exactly. So, and of course, they generally give a little moral to the story. Success starts with the desire to achieve something. If your motivation is weak, your results will follow suit. Think about what you desire the most in life and work toward getting it. Don't allow your environment or other people to influence the things you truly want. Just because the fish swimming by is comfortable with being underwater doesn't mean that you are.
That's right.
I thought that was a good line.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
It is true. And, we're often talking about success and how do we achieve and how do we get, to our goals. And that sums it up.
Yep.
You have to want it as much as you want to breathe. And that's the passion. If you've got the passion.
If you don't have it, you won't put in the work.
You won't, because when you hit those pandemics that shut you down.
Well, right.
You might have to give up.
You mean the image of a pandemic?
Yeah, well, whatever it is, if you hit that bump, and it's a big one, you have to have the passion to want it bad enough to keep going.
Yep, you got to work through that and
That's hard.
It's adversity, right?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It is, but I just thought that was so visual as far as, when you want it as much as you want to breathe, then you want it.
Yeah, I think that's really well put.
Yeah. It's simple. That's the whole secret to success. Big wise man there, right? Let me drown you. Yeah. I'll show you what success looks like.
I have a friend that's a dentist. He went, got out of high school, went into college, and then to dental college, and we were talking about, are you happy with your career, and different aspects of it. And he said, the interesting part is is that really a 16, 17-year-old kid decided what I was going to do for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. I thought, there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
And I don't, pardon?
So many times it's 16 or 17-year-old parents.
Yeah, well, that could very well be
right.
true.
I mean, so
right, yeah.
I don't think he was totally true, right? I know I just had discussions with my son pretty regular on those subjects now.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. It's that passion. How did you develop that in a young man? How do you inspire
You got to
that?
let them. You got to expose them to stuff. Let them find it and encourage.
Right.
You can't teach. You can't do anything. They have to find it, and then you teach them how to explore.
Well, and I think that through sports, that's part of how they learn what that passion is, what it feels like. So that might not be what they do, but once they felt that yearning thing, whatever that is,
right,
they later can feel that again when they're in a profession, or they think they want to be in a profession that they would want to do the same.
Or it was fun for them, and they were like, "Wow, I could do that all the time and make big money."
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's when I graduated from college. I was working for the fire department then, and I had the choice of whether to go into teaching or stay with the fire department. And we talked a little bit about making decisions. That was a decision I never made. I just stayed with the fire department. But certainly for a de facto decision, it just certainly worked out well, because I don't think I could have gone long in education.
Well, you'd been picketing the coronavirus right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I do want to remind those of you out there who might be listening right now that if you have a business, or you're an author or a writer, you don't have to be an author of a book. You might just be somebody that's out there writing blogs and just trying to get the word out. We are looking for stories. We want to know, what's your passion? Why are you doing what you're doing? Tell me your story. Send me a paragraph, and you can send that to... Let's see, where should I have them send it? Let's have them send it to
so
info. No, I want to make it easy. That's why I'm thinking, because I was having them send it to LRP, what's the story, but that's too long. Send it to info@lrpnv.com. That's simple. info@lrpnv.com. And I will post that also on the page, not now because we're almost out of time, but I will post it tonight.
Do one thing better. Give me your address so they can come in and personally meet you.
Well, but if they're not in town, they can't.
That's true.
280 Gregg Street, Reno, Nevada, and that is number 10. So come and see us. Call us, 775-849-3814. And we'd love to have you on the show, Business Spotlight.
How do you express your passion,
That's right.
in your
That's
business, right?
Yep.
I think, we should have like a signage contest or battle of the businesses where they tell their stories,
yes,
right?
I would love to,
And because the passion, my networking, meeting passionate people kicks me into high gear and makes me go. And I've not had that. And so I've been stuck in like second, third gear.
Right.
Because when I meet Jan at a meeting, when I meet others at meetings one-on-one, and they're doing great things and they're optimistic, I just want to go do more, and it makes me go. That might be my passion.
Right.
And so I get excited by that, and not having it is
it's tough.
It's kind of brutal.
It's tough. Well, thank you everybody for being with us today. You are listening to What's the Story. We're here every week from 4 to 6, and just before it's a pinch of basil. And so join us here on KCKQ 1180 on Tuesdays, 3 to 6. I'm here.
Battle of the Bands.
All right.
Rich is just a really, really, really good guy. The term good egg isn't enough to describe him. He's also certified organic and free range. Rich puts the cap back on everything. The toothpaste, the olive oil, the shampoo, everything. He lets his 10-year-old nephew beat him at virtual tennis, even though he can straight up slay his 10-year-old nephew in virtual tennis. When the toilet paper is running low, Rich replaces the roll on the actual holder, not just on the back of the toilet. Rich